When shopping for car insurance, consider this. Geico has been saving people money on car insurance for over 75 years. So if you're serious about savings, it's simple. Go to geico.com. After 75 years, they know how to save you money.
Does driving matter to you? There are over 4 million miles of road in the U.S. to find out. That's a lot of ground to cover. A lot of highways, freeways, wrong ways, long ways. They're all there, waiting to be driven on. So, do you take that left turn at Albuquerque or just keep going? Do you wake up early Sunday mornings for a drive before the traffic does? Or do you take the long, winding road home for a change? If driving matters to you, just get out and drive. Why? Because driving matters. Mazda.
Put your name on it. Just put your name on it. That's all I say. Be a man or a woman. Put your name on it.
Well, I'd like to hear about it, potheads.
How the fuck you gonna know how to be great if you don't study greatness? Look at the game tape.
Donuts.
If you want a battle, it's either that you will or you won't. You know, you're not a bad-looking man, Mr. Gals.
But you are, Blanche. You are in that chair.
There's something wrong with us. Something very, very wrong with us.
Hey, man.
It is about midnight in the Mohr household, and we're a little jacked up on Tylenol PM and bottled water. So just beware.
Also, we're nude.
We are nude. Well, not yet. Here, can I be nude?
Well,
it's not very impressive when you pull your jams down. You, on the other hand,
wow.
if your jams come down, like that's damn impressive.
I'm topless.
That's damn impressive.
To you. That's how you married me.
I think it's pretty impressive to everybody. We wanted to just do a podcast and say to everybody that we think you're terrific. And in this world, Mohr Stories podcast, Nikki Cox. Nikki Cox, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
How weird is it that on the TV show Action, the prostitute was named Nikki Fox, and they definitely named it after you. We talked about this a bunch.
I'd say on a scale of like 1 to 100 of weird, I'd give it like an 11.
Not
well. My name is inherently pretty gross,
but,
and lends itself to being that of a whore.
Well, Norm hired you on the Norm show
to be a whore, and I was on the show Las Vegas a million years ago, and I took the role because I wanted to play a whore. Apparently, I should just stop anything else. I shouldn't be a housewife. I shouldn't write. I should do nothing. Apparently, I want to be a whore.
Yeah, dirty whore.
No, a clean whore. That sound is good, though.
Not that clean whore there. That wasn't a good Norma.
No, I love that,
Jean.
Man.
When I do impressions, because people think hey, you live with a comic, it must be amazing all the time. And I remember one time I was quoting Platoon downstairs. I was taking a leak, and you were upstairs, and you went, "What?" And I went, "Nothing. I was just quoting Platoon." And you came downstairs. I don't know if you remember this. And you said, "I'm sorry, I wasn't listening." And I said, "No, I wasn't quoting Platoon for you. I was just quoting Platoon." And that was the first time I realized that that's odd. And you said, "I'll never forget it." So if I was not in this house, you would still be saying those nothing can kill Barnes but Barnes.
Right.
And
alone. Be saying that.
And I said, yes. And that, I think, really surprised you. I need to
It surprised me, but not a lot. We've been together a while now, so it surprised me. You're very verbose. You have a lot to say, which is lovely, as I tend to say very little in life. And if were it not for you, I think it would be like a pretty mute household.
Yeah, it'd be very quiet if I wasn't around. If it was just a baby playing with sticks and rocks, and you,
Helen Keller, and me.
Well, I would guess.
Well, give me a break.
She probably banged around and stuff a lot.
Oh man, sure. Jesus Christ! Well, what? Really, really, Helen? Give it a better shot.
They named the convenience store after her. Wawa.
Wawa, I know.
It's been a rough year.
What do you mean?
Oh, well, Women's World Cup tied Sweden. That was,
I know.
0-0. That was weird.
Still trying to get over it.
Your mommy dying, my mommy dying, our mommy.
Our mommy.
Of course, I have parents in New Jersey.
Your mommy going
My
through
mommy.
a second round of cancer.
And she's doing fine. And my father, they live 3,000 miles away. I've dropped the in-law the moment I met this family because these people don't have to swallow you whole. And those of you out there that are lucky enough to have a family that just devours you, in-law sounds idiotic. This is my mom, this is my dad. And it's my family lives a continent away, and I'm very lucky to be able to go down the street in like Santa Monica and see Daddy and give him a big hug and a kiss because my daddy is 3,000 miles away, and I miss that. I need that.
Also, they swallowed you whole because they're cannibals.
They are cannibals. They ate my brain. No, they're not zombies. They're cannibals. And they ate my calves because I knew that was the good meat.
Oh, yeah, you have beautiful calves, honey.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can I put my pants on now?
No, it's too funny.
I mean, shirt and no pants is just such a strange look. Man.
I like it.
All right.
I have no problem with any man that wants to be pantless.
Woman shirt, no pants, terrific, especially if it's the guy's shirt.
Yeah.
No?
I'm just not a fan of, lady parts, but sure. Everybody rock what you got if it makes you happy.
Your mom died, and Melissa Rivers...
Which, by the way, was hilarious.
It was one of the funniest deaths ever.
Absolutely.
Kisses her husband goodbye. He goes to work. He comes home.
No, wait for the punchline.
She did it.
She dropped dead.
She's laying on the floor.
On the floor. Dead as Dillinger.
Not in the bed.
Next to the bed. Only 59. Unexpected.
Wait, she's 59.
59. My daddy came home from work. They've been together over 40 years. They got married. My mom was a teen, right? And they were going to, maybe their 40th anniversary this coming winter. He comes home from work and he's saying, honey, where are you? He goes, he sees she's not in the bed. He's looking for her. And then he looks next to the bed. There she was. Just fucking dead. I know, right?
Oh, not in the bed, next to the bed.
I'm telling you, if you're depressed, fuck Prozac and just wait for your mom to die.
Oh, everybody thinks I'm crying because I'm sad.
You will never stop laughing.
I'm crying laughing. I'm not crying because I'm sad.
Oh, God, I know.
Mother's Day, birthdays.
Awesome.
Melissa Rivers was a very big help when you asked her, does it ever get better? And she said, no. She was super matter of fact about it on the podcast.
Actually, the day my mother literally dropped dead, which was interesting because folks always use it, I dropped dead. My mom actually stood up and dropped dead, which, it was hysterical.
She didn't turn up dead. She went missing.
Yeah. I love when people turn up dead. Yeah, that's a good one.
And then he went missing.
I know it's correct grammatically, but it
weird.
Sounds wrong, right?
Like never wrap your mind around hanged.
Yeah.
It's a weird one too.
Or lip synced. When I was a small child, I used to question my mother before she was dead.
You can't keep that. Shit. Let me know when it's coming.
Try to talk about your dead mom with a straight face. I tell you.
Oh.
I used to constantly barrage her.
You guys don't see the face. The face makes it too.
Oh, ear to ear. I'm smiling.
Oh.
Ear to ear.
When you smile, the audience smiles.
Yeah. If you can see the audience is having fun.
Yeah.
Just a little showbiz adage. If you can see the audience is having fun.
Is that the same one you taught me right before a take on Las Vegas where we met when you said, this take?
Look right down the barrel of the camera, straight into the camera.
You said big mouth, dead eyes.
Oh, yeah, big mouth, dead eyes.
And I spent 3 takes thinking you were serious. And I looked like I was having a stroke.
Well, you were. But also, I do think that it's a firm. I'll stand by that acting technique.
Big mouth.
Dead eyes.
Dead eyes.
Yeah.
So you'd argue with your mom about lip synced?
Lip synced. She was an English major, and I would say it shouldn't be lip sync. It should lip sync and shouldn't the past tense be lip sync, and as opposed to lip synced. And my mother, I was very small. I was 3 or 4. I was obnoxiously questioning, and I
3 or 4.
I spoke a lot, not a lot, but when I did, it was too much for a toddler. You don't want your kid asking all these questions to which you have no answer when they're that small.
Maybe that's why you're so quiet now, is because you got all the extraneous...
I got it all out of the way.
Yeah, you got it out of the way. Like a lip sync, that doesn't make sense. It should be
Maybe
lip
that's
sync.
why my mom dropped dead.
Maybe,
Just
literally.
fucking exhaustion.
Literally dropped dead. Oh, I was going to ask you earlier. When I
Yeah.
do impressions, I don't do impressions walking around the house. Tracy comes out because you
Because
can't
you've
not.
taught our toddler.
Yeah.
We're dueling Tracy.
Like if I just lift something
Ding,
and
ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get pregnant. Ding,
Yeah.
ding, 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 ding. I enjoy a sippy cup.
I enjoy my lunch.
Jesus Christ.
When you hear me do impressions, does it like make you sick?
No. When you do impressions of people that I can recognize, and usually they're stories that you're telling me, encounters with these various folks, and you'll tell me the story, and then so and so said, and you'll do their voice, and then you'll say, and I said, and you'll use your own God-given voice. And that's fine. That's fine with me. I think, however, I will say this. With the exception of you, my whole life, and until I met you, I've been impression deaf. And I have actually literally thought, for the most part, every impression I've ever heard until I met you, I was sure was Nixon.
Yeah, we've seen impressionists, and you always say to me, "Who is he doing?
Who's he doing?
Who's he doing?" I'm like, "That's John Gruden. You don't know who John Gruden is. Don't worry."
And I'll say, "Who's he doing?" Nixon.
Why does John Gruden sound like Nixon?
Nixon.
And to me, they sound like nothing even close. John Gruden's like, "This guy right here's got a high motor," and you're like, "Why is he doing Nixon talking about football?"
I don't think that John Gruden sounds like Nixon. I think that the person doing the impression sounds like Nixon. And so I'm going, wow, this guy's doing an hour of just Nixon impressions?
Yeah, it's a big thing.
That should just be a one-man show.
The glass bottom boat tours that people can watch. You also asked your mom about Arthur's theme at 4 years old.
Oh, yeah.
The theme from Arthur?
If you get caught between the moon and New York City.
New York City.
Yeah.
How's it go?
I know it's... If you get caught between the moon and New York City. I know it's crazy, but it's true. Okay.
I actually don't know the words, and I wanted to get it going.
Well, there you go.
Like on Anchorman when they all sing Afternoon Delight, right? If you get caught between the moon and New York City,
I know it's crazy, but it's true. There's got to be some kind of horn or guitar, because it was in the 80s.
I'm going to go horn.
All right.
With a mute.
Oh, I thought you were speaking of a mute. I was going to say, in which case that would be really stupid. It would just be a song of just absolutely nothing.
Yeah, like Coldplay.
Or it would just be lyric free.
Lyric free, like David Bowie's Low. How not bad, like Coldplay. Awesome. High watermark for testing headphones for you beatniks out there that want to test headphones. David Bowie's Low. Give it a shot.
Beatniks?
Yeah.
Are there still any fucking beatniks?
I wanted to say hipsters, and I fucked it up.
Wearing fucking berets and snapping and talking about Ginsburg and just...
If you get caught... I got it.
Go.
It sounds crazy, but it's true.
I know it's crazy.
Okay, ready? 2, 3. If you get caught between... Don't leave me hanging.
No, you're gonna be a beatnik?
No, I want you and I just to do it, just because I'm into it now.
Well, is duets?
Yes. Ready?
If you get caught between the moon and New York City, I know it's crazy,
but it's true. Now we're all excited about it?
Well, yeah, and you would also need a black beret, and you'd be...
I meant to say hipsters.
Oh, okay.
As Rich Voss would say, I stink. I meant to say hipsters.
Maybe he would.
He's a good man, Rich Voss.
I'm sure he is. You've always said that.
He was a fan of yours.
Oh.
Everybody is. But listen.
No, they're not. But that's fair enough.
We'll get to your self-loathing if we need to later on. So you asked what 4-year-old, first of all, goes, hey, this song fucking doesn't make sense, because at 4 years old, like, you're listening to, like, Wheels on the Bus Go Round and Round.
Yeah, I wasn't. So I hated baby songs, really, really bothered me.
How do you feel about them now?
Not a huge fan. I was when Meredith Daniel was, up until he was about 1.5, because then he kind of got sick of baby songs himself.
Yeah, he liked advanced songs like you. Like, he was down with Beautiful Child, Rufus Wainwright.
He likes the Beatles and the Ramones and Rufus. Yeah.
And Black Flag, pre-Henry Rollins. Like, having a mental breakdown, going insane, and he's like in the car bumping his fists.
Well, right before bed just now, he came in and said, "Mommy, do you have your iPad charged?" And I said, "I don't know where it is." And so I used yours and played. I said, well, "What do you want to hear?" He said, "Rufus, and make it a slow one with him on the piano." So I have
with what I have.
Yeah, my anthem.
I tried singing along with that in the car, and it was impossible. So, what was the question you asked about?
I said to my
theme
mother,
from Arthur, or Arthur's theme?
I believe it's the theme from Arthur. Maybe it's Arthur's song.
I don't know. I know it's poor.
I know it's written by, I do believe, one Christopher Cross.
Oh,
Sailing.
Sailing away
to where I've really been. He was quite the lyricist.
Let's start from Sailing. Sailing
takes me away.
I want us to do Sailing at the same time.
Why do you want to? Are you trying to get us
Afternoon? Yeah. Let's get the deal.
Well, no.
You had a record deal in play once.
I had 2.
This is amazing. You played piano at 5 years old.
4.
4 years old?
Yeah.
And you have a show on television on Happily Ever After. It's the 99th ranked show out of 99 television shows. And
it was.
It was.
This was 150 years ago.
Give or take 135 years.
Sure.
And who approaches you for a music deal?
I believe the first time I was approached for a record deal, it was Warner Brothers. When I was on, I don't know what season of the program, Unhappily Ever After, it was...
Starring Jeff Pearson, the president of show business.
Oh, man, the president of everything.
He's the best.
He really is, as a man and as an actor. The stage phone rang, and if you've ever been on a sound stage, it's real bizarre. There's like a fire hydrant that has to be there by law, and the sign saying, in case of emergency, break glass, which I always find kind of funny. I think if there's a fire and you can see a fire hydrant, you go, well, Jesus, I want to put out this fire, but shit, I don't want to break glass.
You shouldn't have to break glass. It should just be open and available, and you should just trust. I sound like Russell. See, you should just trust society to not go on and fiddling with that firehouse.
You'd think so, but it's a soundstage filled with actors, and we're done.
Let's do any pranks on the set. One time, he took the fire hose.
Isn't that, don't you hate it when people say that? Tell me a funny prank from the set.
One time I took a shit in Josh Duhamel's mouth. It was hilarious.
I did once. That was not a prank. That's a true story. I took a shit in his mouth.
That's just his thing.
More mine.
Yours.
Yeah.
You are.
It wasn't a prank. It was just
rocking it out.
Yeah, it was just a prank, and
we need to let everyone know immediately we love.
Oh, he's the berries.
Josh Duhamel.
He's the berries.
I don't want people to be like, what's going on?
I would never shit in his mouth because I'm horribly constipated all the time.
When do you get in touch with that Jamie Lee Curtis or that Aaron Andrews? They got
for all that shit yogurt. I know.
What?
Shit yogurt.
They go, hey guys.
All right. I have no problem with yogurt, but it is bothering me, and it's been going on a while now. And I thought that maybe the yogurt industry would, it'd settle down by now. They'd have taken it down a couple notches and go back to, hey, have some yogurt. Yum. but they
Hey, this one has fruit at the bottom.
Check it out. Look at these happy kids. Yeah,
we tricked them into eating peaches.
Buy yogurt. No, they can't let it go about probiotics and about how if I eat yogurt, it will help me shit. Because they're lying. I've eaten lots of yogurt and to no avail in the shit department.
Yeah.
I enjoy it, but it doesn't help.
You have larger blackheads than actual stools you
I don't
produced.
have any blackheads.
I know.
I get lots of zits.
I was trying to make how small if you ever did.
Fair enough.
Defecate.
Thank you.
Like blackheads on your body would be larger.
Thank you. It was very. Thanks,
Wasn't that funny?
honey.
Because you didn't write it.
The Arthur song.
If you get caught between the moon and New York City. Okay.
If you're wanting us to sing, honey, we're gonna have to practice.
All right, but you got a deal.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Yeah.
And then we'll circle back.
So the sound stage telephone rang. The one next to the in case of emergency break glass, use this. Fire extinguisher. So the stage phone rang. Someone who worked on the television program, a production assistant of some sort, said, "There's a call, and it's for you, Nick," which was weird because I didn't think anybody would ever really call me, other than my mom, who knew I was working. And my boyfriend at the time, who was on the program with me, playing my brother. So I was already caught off guard. I answered the phone, and a man who sounded kind of like
Listen to these commercials real quick.
To the insurance company that tried to break my heart. I am stronger than you ever gave me credit for. You thought I'd never leave? Well, today, I let you go. Today, I found Geico. In just 15 minutes, Geico has given me the sweet savings on my car insurance that you always promised, but never delivered. It's a brand new day, and the sun shines on my Geico automobile insurance policy with 1,000 golden rays. And never looking back. Nancy, in New York.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
We love hearing from you, so keep on sending your tweets and comments. I read every single one of them, and don't miss the chance to take a very important listener survey at podcast1.com. Your responses are going to help me make this show the very best it can be. It's only going to take you like 3 minutes out of your life. Don't you have 3 minutes, and you're going to get the instant gratification that comes with knowing that you helped me out. You can tell me how you really feel about the show and help me get to know you better. Do it now. If you feel like it, take the survey at podcast1.com, podcast1.com, and keep those tweets and comments coming. I do read them, and thank you.
Okay, we're back. The phone rings, and a man on the other side sounds like
Shadow Stevens.
Well, Shadow Stevens.
Might have been him.
95.5 WPLJ, locking and rip the knob off.
I wish it was
Friday fight song.
I love Shadow Stevens.
Pat Oswalt says, eighth caller gets all the cheese. Who wants the cheese?
Oh, yeah, they're fantastic. So someone, a Shadow Stevens.
Like you're doing phone sex. They're fantastic. Don't tell Jeffrey.
Yeah, I was going to say phone sex or
no,
the
you said that more like, well, to me, barefoot Contessa
is phone sex.
That's porn.
Yeah, it is true. When you're rarely when we are apart, which is almost never, and you're doing away for one night during a show. I have to tell you right now, honey. I haven't said this to you before, but I'm going to say it now. It's really. Having phone sex in the voice of the Barefoot Contessa is getting really difficult for me.
Don't have too much fun without me.
Yeah, it's getting hard for me to do.
How bad could that be? I'm almost there.
If you want to have this phone sex, please don't. It's Friday's chicken.
I'm making Jeffrey's chicken.
No, don't tell him.
I think that's pears in it. I just love pears.
I just love pears.
All this dill is from my garden.
I mean fresh.
How bad could that be?
How bad could that be? This calls for a cocktail.
I think you should take it up a notch. Turn up the volume.
I love don't have too much fun without me when there's only one other person there. I mean, it breaks my heart and makes me so happy all at once. Can you imagine, like, you're having just you and your pal are having a dinner, and you're going to go in the kitchen, and you tell your one friend to not have too much fun without you.
Like Nicholas is over. We're making steaks.
Just.
And I go, hey, I'm gonna go upstairs and take a leak. Don't have too much fun without me.
Or just you and I, because she does say it to Jeffrey as well, her husband.
Yeah.
If I ran upstairs to, grab my dessert creme brulee that I keep upstairs in this story, the creme brulee.
In the safe.
Yeah, exactly, because it's a fucking hell of a creme brulee.
It's French.
I know. It's fancy. So I love the vision of her telling the one person that she's hanging out with not to have too much fun without her. And because I'm a ridiculous human being, every time she says it, I can't help but envision her one guest just like the minute she leaves the room, like strapping on roller skates and hanging up a disco ball and just jerking off all over the chicken and just like, playing, Donna Summer, full blast, just having a great fucking, just having a fucking party.
Tell me something good. See, with that one you were
tell me, baby.
You were willing to do that one.
I was, because I am always happy to have someone tell me something good.
Said phone rings.
And Shadow Stevens sound alike.
Which is impressive in its own right.
Yeah. Tell me about it. So I thought it was a joke at first, and then the person made it clear that it was indeed a real call. And the call was from, I don't know if it was a vice president or a president over at Universal Music. And they said who they were and that they had gone through the appropriate channels, meaning your agent, and I had one then. But they wanted to speak directly to me. And I said, okay, but you just said that you're the president or vice, whatever, of music. How does that have anything to do with me? If you're just calling to say hi or whatever, then cool, but I'm not sure why you're calling, let alone, super cool, let alone why you're calling a stage phone, which is an odd thing in life. And the person went on to explain that they would very much, they were so interested in offering me a record deal. And I laughed, and the person was very patient, waited till I was done laughing, because it was a good long 5-minute laugh. And the fact that they stayed on the phone and I had to say, no, I'm not kidding, then I almost threw up just because the whole thing was nauseatingly bizarre.
Are we talking a lot of money? Did they talk dollars and cents at all?
They did say you could be, there is so much money if you consider this. They didn't, flash numbers at me.
Would you have covered Arthur's theme? Michael McDonald?
That's different. That's a whole other show.
Cross freedom.
Do you remember that show on MTV where it was called MTV's Becoming, I think? Was that it?
I don't know. Oh, when people want like plastic surgery to look like
No. They would take usually teen girls, and they would say, "Who's your favorite pop star?"
Right.
And it was Britney Spears or Christina Aguilera.
Aguilera.
Yes.
One guy did have plastic surgery.
That was a different program.
No. Okay, go ahead. I'm not going to
believe me. I know my MTV's Becoming very well, and so they had their glam squad. Apparently, is what people are supposed to have now. I need a glam squad.
You don't?
Yeah, I do.
You're pretty you're hot. You're really hot.
That's because you're my husband, honey, and you are legally obligated to say so.
I'm not.
I know that I know that I'm not aesthetically displeasing. I'm also very well aware of the fact that nobody ever does a double take unless I'm sausaged into some skanky outfit.
You're wearing pajama bottoms and no top right now, and I'm telling you, if you put a top on and walked out and got the mail, if somebody drove by, they'd be like, "Whoa, who's the gypsy?" Trust me. Just trust me on this one.
Let's agree to disagree.
That means disagree.
Yeah, and that's one of the sillier expressions ever in the history of silly expressions. So becoming, they usually take young gals and they want to become somebody like J-Lo. They want to become, someone that they idolize.
Aguilera.
Right. Someone who's popular and well known.
Ralphie May.
I don't think he is a singer.
Okay.
But if he were, sure.
Okay.
I'm sure he could have been on the docket. I don't know. And so they had several episodes wherein they would have the person go through a transformation of wardrobe and hair and makeup, and they'd dye their hair, and then they'd give them one of those weird little headset mics and teach them how to lip sync the song of their favorite star. And at the time, MTV had been asking friends of mine and coworkers many times, if I would appear on the show Punk'd. And that those that loved me said, no, it's mean, and she doesn't really like to do that kind of mean stuff, and it just no. And so MTV then had Becoming, and I don't think they ever had any quote-unquote celebrities, because fucking far from a celebrity. But at any rate, they called and they said, would you be willing to do Becoming? And I said, let me think about it. And when I did answer, I said, yes. And they said, great.
You did really?
Yeah. I said, this is fantastic. I'm really excited. And they said, okay.
Was somebody going to become you? Or
No,
you were
I was going to do Becoming. So who's your favorite person? And we're going to,
Okay.
And they said, who do you wish to become? And I said, Michael McDonald. But
not as funny as Dead Mom, but funny.
And they were quiet.
Yeah.
And I said, but not when he was, young. I'm not stupid. I mean, I know the demographic. I'm not stupid. I want him, with the gray hair.
Yama be there.
Exactly. Yama be there would have been great. And so
Doobie Brothers stuff when he's out on his own doing Christmas stuff.
Yeah, there was. Yeah. I would have said the Doobie Brothers.
Yeah.
Which would have been really silly because I just would have had to be a Doobie Brother.
Doobie.
Doobie Brother. Singularly. Doobie Brother.
A Doobie Brother.
A Doobie Brother.
That sounds like Jack Black. A Doobie Brother. All right. Put the hands in. Let's say go on. No, that turned into Mitch Hedberg Black.
That sounded just the... I
gave it a shot. Some of these work on the fly. Some of them fail, but I'm not afraid for people to hear my failures.
No, you're not.
Sitting across from one of the greatest success of my life.
I love you.
I love you.
And I would think that you were trying to get laid right now, but you already did.
Cannon, giving a semen analysis on Monday. I can't do anything. We're going to get pregnant. Yeah.
Yes,
get pregnant, little boy.
Yes, we will.
Yeah.
I
like a big girl.
I don't think you do.
No, I don't. I like them like you. I like it to look like a 15-year-old boy with big boobs. Like a toothpick with olives. No butt, nothing. Rib cage and boobs.
However, there's lots of gals. Well, I mean, for crying out loud.
I don't like that junk in the trunk stuff. As John Gruden would say, junk in their trunk.
Was that Nixon?
Yes.
Okay. I was, from the time I was in show business at 8 until I got the show and Happily Ever After, I'm a very small person by nature. And an odd-looking one, obviously. And so when I began in show business, the constant refrain was, she's funny or she's good, but she's just so ugly. So
they would say that to you as a child?
They would say it to the agent, and then sometimes I would get the job, but they would...
Urkelos. You did Urkelos. Urkelos.
Yeah, I did.
Urkelos.
I danced. I danced in the Urkel-O cereal commercial. Well, is that why you married me?
Yeah. Well, if you eat Urkelos, dancing's it's not an elective thing. You can't help it.
I think your catchphrase was "get Urkelized with Urkel-O's."
I like it.
You get it?
Missing 3 vowels, but
I was gonna say
Hercules. Get strong like Hercules.
I love a good.
Hercules.
I love a good serial whose tagline is based on vowels.
Get Urkelized by Urkelos. Mm-hmm. Don't Urkel lose. Urkel win. No.
Don't Urkel sometimes wise.
I like that. Be as strong as Hercules. And then we're missing a vowel. I. No, Urkelized. We got it. Well done.
Well, you did most of the work. So
you tell MTV you want to be Michael McDonald.
Yeah.
Did they bite at all? Because it would have been the single greatest hour of television.
It probably. I'm pretty sure that if I had done it, it would be the only thing that I've ever done professionally that I was proud of.
Would you put on like a white beard?
Well, yes.
Shaggy hair.
Well, I would have. That's the whole format of the show, is to look as much like the person that you're trying to emulate as humanly possible. And so I wanted the long, shaggy gray hair, the beard, gray mustache, the works. I wanted to sit at a piano. And,
which you knew how to play.
Well, no.
As a child.
Yes.
And you were offered a record contract, so this would be like slumming for you. You could do this in your sleep, baby girl.
Well, yeah, the record contract that was offered to me. Back to that. Once I realized that the person calling, that Shadow Stevens sounded like calling, was serious, I fucking laughed for a while, and then said, just because it was so absurd. And also, I've never had any desire to sing at all. I learned how, and apparently was good, but I loathe it. I loathe singing. I'll sing to the baby, but in front of others. So I always, when asked to sing professionally, when I was not in front of the camera, would always lie and say that I can't sing. I don't know how. I'm just tone deaf, because the idea of singing in front of people or for a camera is just awful for me.
It's scary. I did do it in Pluto Nash, one of the only movies of mine you ever saw.
No, I did. Mommy rented that. Yes, she rented it because you were singing, and
let's call her.
I would, but she's dead. Oh fuck! I swear to God. You know, say what you will. Say what you will.
Loaded.
Jokes that good never get old.
We had an amazing. What was the question you asked your mom for Arthur's theme?
Oh. I badgered her. We were in the car, stuck in traffic in Los Angeles for an hour and a half. It was at the height of that song's popularity, so I'm sure that it played, 8 times in that hour and a half. And I said to my mother, what does that mean if you get caught between the moon and New York City? The best thing you can do is fall in love. And she said, well, he doesn't mean it literally. He's saying if you find your place, if you find yourself lost somewhere, the best thing you can do is fall in love. And I said, well, obviously he's not lost. He knows that he is between the moon and New York City. And she went, you're right. So there's silence. And I said, so Mommy, really, what does it mean? And it went on for a good hour of me, all of her sweet attempts at answering my question were met with me going, no, that doesn't make sense either, Mommy. So finally my mother's stuck in traffic with a fucking yapping, homely, creepy redhead in the back seat, just badgering her, finally turned around and said, I don't know what that song means. I don't know what the lyrics are. I don't know it all. Please stop asking me. Here's the answer. Why? Want to know why? Because it's a bad song. It's a bad song, and the lyrics are fucking horrible. That's what that means. And I'm sorry I cursed. I'm sorry Mommy used a bad word. But the bottom line is, it's a bad fucking song. It's poorly written, and the lyrics are so subpar. It's unbelievable. And Unacceptable. And I immediately went, all right. I just needed someone to give me an answer. Just don't give me bullshit. Tell me the truth.
It's a bad song.
She was not at all, this big yeller mom with me at all. So I actually pushed her as far as she could go. Again, I'm sure the traffic had didn't really help her poor mood. But I also was incredibly annoying because every answer that she offered up, I told her was wrong. And she knew it was wrong. She knew she was just making shit up to shut me up. And eventually she just got the damn burst and she just said, I don't know. Please stop asking me. Want to know why? It's a shitty song with shitty lyrics. That's why.
So your mom dies.
Right. Sorry. Fuck, I swear every time.
I'm sorry. I can do it. I get through it.
Can you?
Okay.
It's a shit.
So your mom.
You know how I wrote your last special, honey? I already have your opening line. You're gonna go, hi, wow, it's really nice for you guys to be here. My wife's mom died. Oh no, you know what? I'm gonna save that for the closer.
It's the big closer?
Oh yeah. How do you top that?
Drop dead.
And then say thank you, good night, and maybe throw the mic down.
Drop the mic.
Like an old school rapper. But,
Hashtag drop the mic.
Angry. I want you to throw the mic down with a sense of purpose and with a great deal of vitriol.
People say it takes time to feel better,
Oh yeah. That's my favorite thing. When your mother, or anyone that you love unconditionally and with every bit of you, when people say shit like, and I know people are being kind. I know they're trying to be kind. And strangers and loved ones alike. She was young and she wasn't ill, and so it was shocking and heinous for everyone involved. And people were doing their best through their shock, and anyone that knew her was crazy in love with her because she was. Talk about a one-man band. I mean, she was just...
Terry K. Cox.
Yeah, Terry K. Cox, to paraphrase Billy Crystal's ode to Robin Williams on the Emmys, when he said, when he was speaking about his dear friend, Robin Williams, all I could think was, that's my mother. And it was Terry K. Cox. What a concept.
What a concept.
Because she was not your average bear.
No.
She was.
When I first met her, I knew she was the linchpin to the whole organization. Maybe from being a comic and walking on stage and vibing out a room for 25 years when I'd met you. I just inherently, it's either the mother or the father. So, no, I'm not going to tie that into stand-up vibing out.
Well, no, I also had told you the first year that we were together that I had the only mother in the world that if I had come home and said, Mommy, I've fallen in love and I'm marrying a doctor, would have been fucking furious.
Right.
I have the only mother who, when I to come home, say I'm dating, or I'm in love with, or I'm marrying a professional, a comedian, a real one.
If my daughter gets like Steve Martin, Billy Connolly, there's like a long list of best case scenario, and it's all comics.
I do believe. I don't think she ever made a list.
I'm just
She might have. I don't know. She was. She did like to keep track of shit. But yes, walking me down the aisle, she walked me down as well as my father, her on one arm and my dad on the other, and seeing you, and they already loved you as a son, not as an in-law. Seeing you, a comic that also you had to be a comic that made her laugh. If you were a comic that she thought was shitty, I kind of think that she, who am I kidding? I know she would have flat out said, he's probably really nice to you, and I'm glad you're in love, but you do know he's a really shitty fucking comic, right? she wasn't.
No, she wouldn't pull any punches.
Yeah, she was not. Isn't. I think the tense is one of the hardest parts when someone you love dies. It makes me nuts. I have to be hyper aware when speaking of her that I don't say is. That I have to say was.
It's so strange. Because both my parents are alive. I can't imagine saying, well, my mom is, and then having to stop myself and say, was.
It's very strange. Especially when she's the type of person I caught myself. Was the type of person she was, where she didn't light up a room because she wasn't murdered. She dropped dead. She dropped dead. Oh, fuck. That will never stop being funny.
I don't think so.
It'll never stop being funny.
Drop dead.
Shit.
Hey, my mother dropped dead.
Oh, shit. I hope that if Norm MacDonald ever hears your impression, he isn't bummed out by it.
Yeah, he was on Marin, and he said...
He was? I don't know of the other fellas. So he was...
Mark Maron's podcast, WTF.
Yes.
He was on years ago.
Yes.
So long ago, I was traveling... I listened to it one of the 30 days in 11 years.
So long ago.
In Canada. So, huh?
Mommy was alive.
So...
It's one of the rules of comedy. Repetition.
Norm Macdonald was on the Mark Maron podcast.
Yes.
And Mark Maron brought up that comics are now doing impressions of Norm Macdonald. And he goes, yeah, I hear guys doing like impressions of me, and then they're like, I sound like a fucking retard, Like, I don't think I sound like a fucking retard.
Which, by the way, I think obviously, having a special aunt who also, she passed away 2 weeks ago. Also, quite hilarious. Not as funny as Dead Mom.
Wait, that joke went over my head. What happened?
She died.
Who? Mommy died.
No,
Mommy died.
Okay, hold it together to this one. My Aunt Christy, who's...
The Special Olympian.
Right. My Aunt
Multiple
Chris,
gold medal winning
right.
Special Olympian?
Yes. My Aunt Chris was, as you know, in House Fire. Right? It's not as funny as Dead Mom.
No, but
I didn't see it coming. However, handicapped aunt, pretty close fucking second, right?
What do you mean?
In terms of
what
jokes,
happened in the fire? She ran out, or they put it out?
She was no. She just burned to a crisp. She burnt to a crisp, and
what?
Yes. Burnt to a... Shall I say it again?
I just don't know how you say it without
crisp,
laughing.
She burned.
I don't know how you say it without cracking up.
I'm a much better straight man than you. That's why, honey.
You are. Aunt Christy died in a condo fire, and
my Uncle Dan, who's been on the podcast.
Well, he's a star. He's 100%er.
Well, he's 100%er.
This is your second time, so you may be a 100%er after this, or you might be a 50%er after this.
I'm going to guess maybe 3%er, and I'm not being self-effacing.
What are the odds of you thinking you might not be great? 1 in 1? Aunt Christy died in an apartment fire. You can Google search Woodland Hills condo fire. That's our family. It was on the news.
Yeah.
Even the news thought it was hilarious.
I know.
Uncle Dan.
My Uncle Dan was in the condo with my Aunt Christy, my special aunt, and Uncle Dan's wife, who's my auntie, Aunt Laurie. She was out shopping for my Aunt Christy's birthday, which was the next day. And
April 28th?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
April 28th, Laurie.
Mm-hmm.
Take it on.
And she got everything. She got cupcakes and balloons and whatnot to ready the rec room at their condo for my Aunt Chris's birthday. And when she came home after doing all her party prep, the whole street was just filled with, newscasters and EMTs and huge fire trucks, and it was terrifying. And then she found out that the fire had been, even arson investigators were just like sympathetic and flummoxed by that a fire of this nature.
It was huge.
It was and that it burnt so contained. Hot. Yeah. But however, it took a few fire trucks, or I don't know if they were different, company fire, whatever. It took a few of them to put
more than a dozen.
Yes. It took and almost an hour to put out the fire in one condo unit. So it was alarmingly massive, this fire. And my Uncle Dan, who's after, a few others, next to a few others, probably one of the best people anyone could ever know. I think you'd agree.
One of the greatest I've ever known.
Yeah. He did his best to literally drag my Aunt Chris out of the fire physically. And she was big, heavier. And also on my mother's side of the family were all pretty tall. And my Aunt Christy is, was about 5'10", almost 5'11". And Uncle Dan's a little over 6 feet, but still, when you're trying to drag a person who's special, so she couldn't exactly help. So it was dead weight. Well, not yet dead weight. Out of the flames that were burning so rapidly that it terrified even arsonists. And
Uncle Dan was supposed to die.
Yeah,
the doctor said he was minute for a month.
He first spent his time trying to get my Aunt Chris out. So he was in the apartment far longer than he should have. And then, out of her bedroom and into the living room, which was, of course, the way out into the hallway of their condo complex, so they could be out of the burning condo unit. And Christy was being obstinate. And Uncle Dan, he spent 30 years with my Aunt Laurie, my auntie. They've devoted their entire lives to taking care of my Aunt Chris, because she needs caretaking. Yeah. And, most families would put folks like my Aunt Chris in a home, but that's not the way my beautiful family handles stuff. And it was never easy. And in fact, weeks after her passing, my auntie said to me, "I miss her so much." And my Aunt Chris was she was 3 jobs. She was a lot of work. We're dealing with a 2-year-old.
But harder, because 2-year-olds eventually go to sleep.
They go to sleep, and had she not been special, she also suffered from OCD and depression and, a whole host of other mental illnesses on top of being special. So it was an actual 24-hour-a-day job that my auntie and my Uncle Dan, their lives just revolved around Chris, the way that parents, the way that ours does around our son.
Right.
However,
we have the benefit of he goes to bed at 7:30 every night, and he sleeps for 10 hours.
Also, we have the benefit of the fact that he's going to grow up and be able to live on his own.
Yeah.
God willing, that nothing happens. Knock wood. Why? Because your pants are off?
Can I please put them back on? It's ridiculous. These chairs are sticky.
Yeah, you can put him back on.
Thank you. Fuck. Like, was it hazing?
No, it was just funny.
Like, yeah, I'll do a podcast if you do the whole thing with your pants off. And I was like, all right. Wait a minute. I can't. Ugh. Uncle Dan.
So Uncle Dan should have passed. In his, he could have easily gotten out of the fire and without any major injury whatsoever. In fact, on the news, all the EMTs and fire companies allowed him to walk downstairs and exit the building without any assistance. It was only once they got him into the hospital that they realized that he had third-degree burns on 40% of his body.
No, more than that. It was his entire back, his arms, the tops of his feet. His face was fine. I learned visiting him in the hospital, everything in the midsection was fine.
Yeah, his important shit was fine.
Yeah, and it was amazing because I went and saw him in the hospital, and I said, "Hey, how's your, penis?" And he goes, "Oh man, you know what? I haven't even looked yet, but I got to tell you, the catheters, these things are amazing."
I know.
He was about to tell me how great it is to have a catheter. That's Uncle Dan. A catheter. Everyone listening goes, "Oh, like my penis hurts just thinking about a catheter." Uncle Dan goes, "These days, oh man."
How about
these catheters are real good. And I go, "You haven't looked yet?" And he goes, "No, do me a favor. I can't look down there. You look for me." And I go, "Okay, but before I lift up this towel," because he's wrapped up like a mummy and there's a towel over his private parts, I said, "I just want to double check that you're I'm going to be the first one to see it."
You're comfortable with that, right?
Yeah, I know you're comfortable with me seeing your privates. I knew that. I knew he was comfortable, we don't care if we're in a locker room, steam room, whatever. But it's like, this might be catastrophic, this might be horrific, and he goes, yeah, just take a look. And I go, all right, but just so, he goes, oh Christ, and then he reaches for the towel. Now I grab the towel, no, you said I could be the first, I take that, I want to be so he goes, we'll do it at the same time.
So suddenly it became a competition for you?
And
no, you said
you
first.
Said I could be first. I don't want to be the second guy in.
I want to be the first guy to see whether or not you have a burnt cock.
I want to peek under the towel.
First.
Yes. And he goes, oh, Christ. He goes, can we do it at the same time? Now we're talking loudly in the ICU burn unit. And I go on three. And
that's the best place to speak loudly.
Yes, they like it.
They love it.
Well, their heads are all wrapped up. They can barely hear you unless you speak loudly because their heads are wrapped up over the ears.
Yeah, that's the best place to shout.
He said, we'll do it at the same time on the count of three. Are you ready? And I go, okay, 1. And then he just lifted up the towel. And he wasn't burnt there or his face. So that's awesome news. But he's horribly burnt over his arms, his back, his beautiful torso. He was so strong in life that's really what saved his life. He thinks what saved his life was Father Tim putting oils on his head.
Yeah.
He goes, I think that really saved my life.
My Uncle Dan, well, he grew up in Boston, and he was an altar boy, and he never had any of the creepy shit that people like to talk about, Boston priests and whatnot.
Like me and you, a really good Catholic experience.
He had a church or a parish where it wasn't creepy or Bible thumpery or whatever. Essentially, the East Coast version of what we have found, and he liked being Catholic. When we went to church and Auntie and Uncle Dan were baptized. Our son was baptized, and Aunt and Uncle Dan were named Godmother and Godfather. That meant a great deal to Uncle Dan, not just because of the fact that he adores our baby, and not just because our son Meredith Daniel was named after him. It was also the religious aspect of sitting in a Catholic church, and so that it does mean something to him. And Father Tim is
he's awesome.
Yes, and he's gorgeous, and he's gentle, and he's quiet, and he baptized our children. He comes over for dinner. At Christmas, for Pete's sake, because
we didn't invite him because he was the priest. We invited him because he's our friend. And we go, hey, this priest probably, it's got to be weird. It's a working Christmas.
And it was our first. And it was our first. Sorry, it was our first Christmas since mommy was dead. I'm sorry. Fuck.
She wasn't there. She.
Wanna know why?
Why?
She was dead. As a doornail.
Dead like Haas.
Yeah. Why are you dead? Where does that expression come from? Do you know?
That's what she said to you. I always heard dead as Dillinger from Pulp Fiction.
Well, sure, but
I never heard dead like Haas until Mom.
Oh no, like Haas was her. She made it up.
Dead as a doornail.
Yes. No, dead like Haas was something she said.
I don't know where it comes from. Dead as a doornail.
Dead as a doornail. I wasn't aware of the fact that
dead as a table.
That any
inanimate object.
Doornails had the gift of life.
What's a doornail?
Sometimes you're so charmingly naive.
I'm charmingly naive?
I don't fucking know what a doornail is.
You're charmingly naive. You're Hey, man.
Mostly just naive.
That was really the taxi driver scene.
I don't think there's much.
I'm square. You're square.
I don't know what the fuck a doornail is.
Uncle Dan,
I barely know what a door is.
You don't. So my wife goes, what this? And I tell her, honey, that's a door. Through, in or out, or in through the out.
And I'm still not clear on it.
No. And In Through the Outdoor is a terrible Zeppelin album, but it does have Fool in the Rain, which is my favorite song.
Good to know.
Uncle Dan, they like it. They go, oh.
I was.
Oh, I know.
Do you know how many? I so wish that people have the things, those smiley faces or pieces of poop, those little tiny pictures.
Emoticons.
Yes.
Emoticons.
I wish there was an emoticon for sarcasm, because I'd say
a font.
Yes.
She wrote that.
Or a punctuation mark.
There should be a sarcasm font.
There really should. Okay. I think that some people, when they're being sarcastic in writing, will say JK, and I think they mean just kidding.
Didn't you write Harry Potter?
Oh, I thought that was
J.K.
The guy. No.
Harry Potter.
Yes. I thought it was the man that just won the Oscar for
J.K.
Whiplash.
Simons.
Right.
He wrote Harry Potter.
Oh, wow.
Listen,
just when I think I couldn't be a bigger fan.
Uncle Dan is going not only to live, but he's going to live with authority, with abundance, with purpose, with light, and with love. We had a GoFundMe page at jaymohr.com. We were hoping to get $15,000. We got it in less than a month because of your guys' donations. You may say to yourself, hey, you guys are millionaires. Why don't you just donate? First of all, we're not at all combined. I work in AM radio, and my wife writes.
Wait, how does that have to do with donating? Oh, rich, you mean?
We're not millionaires.
No, right. No, we are high. We are very.
We are 100,000ers. We are low 100,000ers.
No, whatever.
People will say, hey, you guys, why don't you guys just put in all your money? And it's, well, you do. That's what you do as a family. But then you realize...
that's not going to be enough.
Right. And what happened is their home where they lived for 20 years is gone. It's ash. And picture every single item of clothing, your wallet, your computer, every weird...
your
keys.
Fridge, your sinks, your toilets, your towels, your
photo album,
toothbrushes.
your wedding certificate.
Oh, yes.
Your sister's death certificate.
Yes.
See, going back
Which
to the
sister?
comedy well.
My Aunt Laurie.
Which sister?
She lost my special aunt, to whom she devoted her whole life, and also her big sister, my mommy. Don't laugh.
I can't.
Then just like laugh inside. Just be laughing on the insides.
Then how will the audience know if I'm having a good time?
If the audience can see you.
They can't. It's a podcast. They can only hear me. They can picture me.
Yeah.
All right. Picture me wearing blue, like Fred McMurray pajamas, but these have pockets. These are cool ones. Uncle Dan, through science and faith and prayer and the matrix of you never know what's going to happen is absolutely going to live a 100% miraculous recovery life. Now, my wife and I need to tell all of you that donated, and if you didn't have money to donate, there are people on the GoFundMe page that literally put $5 and wrote a note. I'm so sorry I can't give more. And those were beautiful to read. Because
my auntie, after leaving leaving the hospital every evening after visiting my Uncle Dan, she would read the comments on the GoFundMe page. Almost never the amount of money, but the comments that people made. She and I were together, and she started to cry, which is rare. She's like me. She's not a crier at all.
That's how you get over a death. People tell you to cry it out, right?
Oh yeah, cry it out. Crying out. You got to get it out. You just got to cry. Really?
This really got in your craw. Like, this bothered you the way people were coming at you. And they wanted to help.
Because
or actually, I don't think they wanted to help. I think they really like talking.
Everyone wants to fucking talk.
Like, the people that really wanted to help, like Charlie and Laurel, there was just food. And, like, Corey just started cooking. And people and Opie told me when his father died, people say, if there's anything I can do, people that love you so much, just start showing up. A handwritten letter, they're at your door, they take you out to the mall, and that really stuck with me. And then I noticed that with the Uncle Dan and Aunt Christy and Mommy stuff, that some people you go, holy smokes, like, you worked hard to get like all this steak made and put into my freezer when I was at work.
And we brought it all over to Auntie, and she's staying with Graham while my grandma, while Uncle Dan is recovering in the hospital. She went through all of the GoFundMe comments, and the comments had her weeping.
Literally.
And she flat out said, I've never had such faith in human kindness, which, Auntie's lovely, but statements of that nature, that's not how she speaks, generally. However, it really meant a lot to her, a whole lot. And she's one of the only people that when we reached the goal of $15,000.
Oh, this is amazing.
Auntie said, texted us, called us to say, please take it down now. Meanwhile, $15,000, I know that's a good chunk of fucking change. But not when you think about the fact that they have to not only rebuy everything they own, they also have to actually rebuild the condos from studs up.
And pay rent for the rest of their lives. Or a mortgage.
A mortgage, right.
Or a down payment. Car, gasoline. But you're right. Auntie,
and
I forgot about that.
And she said you reached the mark.
The goal was $15,000. We reached the goal.
We actually.
Please take it down.
But you and I said, but there's lots of folks that weren't aware of it.
Yeah.
Or as they become aware of it.
Yeah, we might hit 16,000, Auntie.
Or you might get 6, but 6 comments that would have meant the world to her. But she said, I feel like asking for more than that is way too greedy, and I don't feel right asking for any more.
That's the kind of people we're talking about.
And those are the kind of people that do deserve more. But, people get punished for doing the right thing, it seems.
No good deed goes unpunished. Uncle Dan is going to be 100%.
He certainly is. But for many weeks, the doctors flat out told Auntie it's going to be minute to minute. And
minute to minute? I never even heard of that diagnosis before.
Yes.
Just because I remember, just because he's doing well right now, that doesn't mean in 60 seconds his organs will just shut down entirely.
Yes.
And he's saying which organs? All of his organs.
He was on a ventilator and put into, an induced coma for weeks and weeks and weeks, because they said his organs were so damaged, so damaged, that the effort it would take him to simply exist on his own would be impossible, and that the energy expended on breathing, his organs would fail due to the exertion he'd have to put out in order to, take care of himself.
Well,
so
it'll be amazing when he's on this podcast, like, not talking about the fire, but people want to hear his voice so bad. He's so beloved, Uncle Dan. And go back in the archives and listen to Uncle Dan on the podcast. The one with Ryan Sickler got reposted. It's Uncle Dan.
Man.
Oh, man. It was me, my friend Ron, this other guy named Ron, and his father, Ron. And it's me and Sickler screaming, "You worked with 3 Rons?" He goes, yeah. He didn't even think it was funny.
He's always been... Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
That's the thing, the sly.
Yes, he's super bright. And he is a guy who's genuinely had every job in the world.
Yeah, it's a great episode where he goes through
all of his jobs. I mean, for Christ's sake, he was talking to Sickler. He said, for a little while, I worked as a butcher. You'd have a full animal, and you'd have to
Snyder's Dressed Meats.
Right. That was the name of the company.
Yeah.
And he said, I took the job, and then I realized that you had to, was it behead the cow?
Somebody slits the cow's throat and collects the blood in a bucket. At the same time, another guy shoots the cow in the head with a .22.
Right. And so Uncle Dan's explaining that he worked there. He said, but.
I said, how long did you work there?
He said, about half a cow.
Half a cow.
He said, dead serious. About half a cow.
That was about half a cow. You know what? I just walked out at lunch. I didn't even go back for my check.
I didn't. I couldn't take it. I couldn't take it.
People that tell you how to grieve.
Make me want to throw up.
This is something.
And I won't say throw up in my mouth because I'm getting very tired of that. When people say,
I just threw up in my mouth.
Yeah. No,
they out of my mouth hole.
No. As my comedic hero, one of them says, they make me want to be sick out my mouth.
Russell Brand.
Yeah, holy moly.
What do people say? They say time heals all wounds.
Yes, time heals all wounds. To which I said to you, angry almost, even though I know is irrational anger, because folks only say it in the attempt to be kind. Time heals all wounds. And my immediate response was, no, it fucking doesn't. And if you feel that time heals all wounds, you've either never been hurt or you've never owned a fucking clock. Because time does not heal all wounds, Especially, and I'm not being creepy here about my mom, so we don't have to laugh anymore. Especially my mother, it's yet to be a year, and I don't know if others feel this way or if I'm just alone on this, which is probably the case because I'm, as I said, a ridiculous human being. The longer she's gone, the further I feel away from her, the more time that passes, the more her absence is painfully noticed. And I don't know how many times I've wanted to call her to say either something big, great news, something inane, put on the TV right now, they just started Wuthering Heights, that kind of stuff.
The thing that's amazing that happened with me and still happens with me is when the topic or when I start thinking about mommy dying, I go to reach for my cell phone because the one person I have to talk to about this is mommy. I keep going to call her about her death.
She's one of the few people that would have known how to act,
Yeah.
And the time heals all wounds, and also they're in a better place. They're in a better place, And I hold back, but wish to say, I'm really glad that my mom's in a better place for you. I'm happy for you. I'm happy that she's in a better place for you, because for me, her being in a better place would be next to me on the couch. But I am happy for you that she's in a better place for you. Yeah. So I guess that's the upside of that statement. But the better place shit is just that, a load of shit. I don't think it's being said disingenuously. It's just...
Well, I don't think people that say it really truly believe, like, hey, that lady that I don't really know and I've never met is in a better place, because they don't know how she died, and
right.
The fact that she just simply actually dropped dead on the floor and Daddy came home and she was laying there after he went to work. I mean, that's...
Yeah. I spoke to a friend of mine, someone that I've loved forever and someone that I always will, and he has lost his family, his mom, his dad, sister, a couple due to long, drawn-out illnesses, one due to just a shock. Just they're there and the call, they're gone.
Mommy.
Right.
Yeah.
And I said, obviously, I've never had the experience of one of my parents have, one of my, a member of my itty-bitty nuclear family. I haven't had to sit there and watch them deteriorate and hurt. Because then when they do finally go, I think that there is a sense of relief.
Yeah.
Because you love the person, and the person's laying there going, I've taken fentanyl and propofol, Michael Jackson's milk.
You want nighttime milk?
I love my milk.
Milk, nighttime
Fucking
nighttime milk.
Oh my God, how creepy was that?
Oh, it's not creepy at all.
That might have been one of the nastier things he ever said. Aside from the kid fucking and, hanging his kid on a window.
Milk?
Yeah.
That bothers you?
Terribly.
Well, he's got to come up with some code for it.
Not if he's alone with a doctor.
Is it time for my propofol? Oh, all right. Sounds like a baby wanting his baba.
Yes.
Oh, my milk.
I don't know.
You danced for him.
Listen.
There's two people sitting here, and only one of them fucking worked for him.
Listen,
pulled a check
I know
That's
it's controversial, but I think that Michael Jackson was a little weird.
Michael Jackson was weird? Michael Jackson was a boss. Rolled around dressed like Sgt. Peppers. Had a pet chimp. Better stop fucking with that ape, Mike.
I think he was, just a little weird.
I think I don't know why you would... Is this like internet trolling now? Like you just trying to get a reaction out of people?
No, I'm trying to speak the truth. However, I do love to internet troll.
You're a big troller.
Yes, huge. I use my desktop computer as well as my laptop computer, just in general. I do all that.
All your devices?
I don't have any of this shit. I have none of this shit. I have fucking encyclopedias. I love
encyclopedias.
Aren't they great?
Yeah, I love them. And the older, the better. I like the smell.
I love the smell of books, period.
I do, too.
Yeah.
Underrated smell. Books. My beloved wife.
Yes?
This was a good conversation. I dug this. Thank you for agreeing to sit down. And people have been on Twitter a lot at Jay Mohr 30. You guys know my fucking Twitter.
You're very kind.
No, they've been asking. And with the listener, my dear listener, what you need to know is my wife thinks she sucks at so many things, and that people think...
Okay, well, here's the thing. Up until I was on the program Unhappily Ever After, where I had to force feed myself 8 meals of drive through a day so that I could have this big, sexy, curvy body that I was supposed to have.
Well, it was the WB.
Yeah.
They're just playing for the demo. They needed your bootylicious.
But now I don't do that. Now I'm at my normal weight, and apparently I did not know this. According to every website, I've been told I'm anorexic and bulimic and a junkie, and that's why I'm so skinny.
And you're also the ugliest person on earth.
You know what?
That you should die.
That's in all honesty, that's the upshot of having a dead mom.
Excuse me?
That's the upshot. There are some really cool things about having a dead mom. In my case, I'd have to say it's she had an iPad, and of course she would look up her kids. So she would look you up, and she would look myself up and see what people said. And I'm apparently, as many people have said, the ugliest person that ever lived. And I'm on lists of all of my plastic surgeries. I've had a facelift, an eye lift, cheek implants, chin implants. What else?
I like fat from your butt put in your lips.
Oh, that's my favorite.
And the baby's got the same lips as you, so he goes to the same plastic surgery.
How about when you saw my photos the day I was born, and I look like
with lips.
Like, yeah, I look like just a little bald person wearing fucking baby wax lips.
So like selfie, stick out the lips.
Yeah, and so which is kind of a bummer, because when all that stuff is being said, you're so ugly, you should kill yourself. Which obviously I know there's trolls, but one that I think is one thing that I think is bizarre.
A website isn't a troll. A website's like, hey, these are the worst plastic surgeries we've ever seen in our lives. We've compiled a list for you. Begin slideshow number 5, Nikki Cox.
It's pretty. It's pretty creepy. Our dermatologists and my GP were saying you could sue for a lot of dough. And
yeah, I've said it to you too.
And I know I could, because it's slander. That's all there is to it. But it seems like a really, really dumb way to spend hours of negativity and fighting and a lot of money and a lot of energy put towards something so silly, when anyone I know and loves knows that I'm not the things that everybody accuses me of, and that's all that matters. As long as my folks and you know my dear friends know that no, that's not, you're not a lady who's had all that stuff done. You're just not. Your opinions are...
Your mom used to read all those things?
Yeah. But my loved ones are the only opinions that really matter. However, I digress. Mommy used to go on, look for stuff about me, and all it was about all the, you know, how I essentially am just this totally hideous anorexic plastic person, and the ugliest person that ever lived. And again, I don't look at all that stuff.
Well, if you're listening, you can just Google search Nikki Cox, make a note to yourself.
I did see one.
Fascinating.
I did see a couple that were three that were great. One was about how it was so hideously ugly. Look at her here, and look at her now. And it was photographs of Brittany Murphy. And God rest her soul. She was a sweet girl. But she's also not me.
Yeah, you guys don't really look
right. And also the before and after of look how pretty she was, and which, you know, I don't believe to be true, but the internet at that moment believed to be true, that I used to be so pretty. And look at me. Now I'm just disgusting. I'm so disgusting. Anyway, mother, yes, mother, I'm doing bust exercises. My mother would read all that shit about me, and it hurt her heart terribly, because a lot of it was that I should kill myself because I was so ugly and so disgusting, and rattling off, you know, the 15 procedures that I've had done. To which I always want to reply, don't you think that if I had 15 procedures done, I'd be cute? I'd be really cute. And it, of course, hurt mostly my mom, because of the fact that the other comments were, someone needs to kill her plastic surgeon, which I don't have one, so I guess they just have to pick one at random. And I'm sure there are plenty. So you could just pick one and say, that's the one. But I don't have one. So my mom, knowing all this, would cry about all that stuff. Partially because it was so cruel towards her little daughter. And partially selfishly because she wanted to go, okay, so someone should kill the plastic surgeon, and I know she hasn't had one. I'm the one that made her. I'm the one that grew and made a person that looks this way, not a surgeon, whatever. And so I think that in a selfish way, she felt her feelings were hurt. Going, here, she's so ugly, really? Well, I made that. And so I think that selfishly it hurt her. But
not anymore.
No, not so much, because she is.
We're gonna close it.
I can't stay serious that long.
To close and close.
You know what it is?
Big closer. So take me back. Beginning.
All right, she woke up, kissed my dad goodbye. My dad went to work. My actual rocket scientist dad, who, by the by, was so pleased when his little daughter said, "I want to be an actor." I don't think I've ever seen anybody so disappointed that I wanted to be an actor.
He goes to work.
Heads home, grabs groceries that she needed, beverages or whatever. Couldn't find her, went to her room, and there she was, by the side of her bed, already in rigor mortis. Because, she was fucking dead.
Oh, fuck. More stories, always great for comedy.
Oh, man.
If you don't laugh, you will cry.
I can rock what you got if it makes you happy.
Your mom died, and Melissa Rivers...
Which, by the way, was hilarious.
It was one of the funniest deaths ever.
Absolutely.
Kisses her husband goodbye. He goes to work. He comes home.
No, wait for the punchline.
She did it.
She dropped dead.
She's laying on the floor.
On the floor. Dead as Dillinger.
Not in the bed.
Next to the bed. Only 59. Unexpected.
Wait, she's 59.
59. My daddy came home from work. They've been together over 40 years. They got married. My mom was a teen, right? And they were going to, maybe their 40th anniversary this coming winter. He comes home from work and he's saying, honey, where are you? He goes, he sees she's not in the bed. He's looking for her. And then he looks next to the bed. There she was. Just fucking dead. I know, right?
Oh, not in the bed, next to the bed.
I'm telling you, if you're depressed, fuck Prozac and just wait for your mom to die.
Oh, everybody thinks I'm crying because I'm sad.
You will never stop laughing.
I'm crying laughing. I'm not crying because I'm sad.
Oh, God, I know.
Mother's Day, birthdays.
Awesome.
Melissa Rivers was a very big help when you asked her, does it ever get better? And she said, no. She was super matter of fact about it on the podcast.
Actually, the day my mother literally dropped dead, which was interesting because folks always use it, they dropped dead. My mom actually stood up and dropped dead, which, again, it was hysterical.
She didn't turn up dead. She went missing.
Yeah. I love when people turn up dead. Yeah, that's a good one.
And then he went missing.
I know it's correct grammatically, but it sounds wrong, right?
Like wrap your mind around hanged.
Yeah.
It's a weird one too.
Or lip synced. As a small child, I used to question my mother before she was dead.
You can't keep it. Let me know when it's coming.
Try to talk about your dead mom with a straight face. I tell you.
Oh.
I used to constantly barrage her.
You guys don't see the face. The face makes it too.
Oh, ear to ear. I'm smiling.
Oh.
Ear to ear.
When you smile, the audience smiles.
Yeah. If you can see the audience is having fun.
Yeah.
Just a little showbiz adage. If you can see the audience The audience is having fun.
Is that the same one you taught me right before a take on Las Vegas where we met when you said, this take?
Look right down the barrel of the camera, straight into the camera.
You said big mouth, dead eyes.
Oh, yeah, big mouth, dead eyes.
And I spent 3 takes thinking you were serious. And I looked like I was having a stroke.
Well, you were. But also, I do think that it's a firm. I'll stand by that acting technique.
Big mouth.
Dead eyes.
Dead eyes.
Yeah.
So you'd argue with your mom about lip synced?
Lip synced. She was an English major, and I would say it shouldn't be lip sync. It was in the 80s.
I'm going to go horn.
All right.
With a mute.
Oh, I thought you were speaking of the mute. I was going to say, in which case that would be really stupid. It would just be a song of just absolutely nothing.
Yeah, like Coldplay.
Or it would just be lyric free.
Lyric free, like David Bowie's Low. How not bad, like Coldplay. Awesome. High watermark for testing headphones for you beatniks out there that want to test headphones. David Bowie's Low. Give it a shot.
Beatniks?
Yeah.
Are there still any fucking beatniks?
I wanted to say hipsters and I fucked it up.
Wearing fucking berets and snapping and talking about Ginsberg and just.
If you get caught, I got it.
Go.
It sounds crazy, but it's true.
I know it's crazy.
Okay, ready? 2, 3. If you get caught between, don't leave me hanging.
No, you're gonna be a beatnik.
No, I want you and I just to do it, just because I'm into it now.
Well, is duets?
Yes. Ready?
If you get caught between the moon and New York City, I know it's crazy,
but it's true. Now we're all excited about it?
Well, yeah, and you would also need a black beret, and you'd be...
I meant to say hipsters.
Oh, okay.
As Rich Voss would say, I stink. I meant to say hipsters.
Maybe he would.
He's a good man, Rich Voss.
I'm sure he is. You've always said that.
He was a fan of yours.
Oh.
Everybody is. But listen.
No, they're not. But that's fair enough.
We'll get to your self-loathing if we need to later on. So you asked what 4-year-old... First of all, goes, hey, this song fucking doesn't make sense. Because at 4 years old, like, you're listening to, like, Wheels on the Bus Go Round and Round.
Yeah, I wasn't. That I hated baby songs, really, really bothered me.
How do you feel about them now?
Not a huge fan. I was when Meredith Daniel was, up until he was about 1.5, because then he kind of got sick of baby songs himself.
Yeah, he liked advanced songs like you. Like, he was down with Beautiful Child, Rufus Wainwright.
He likes the Beatles and the Ramones and Rufus. Yeah.
And Black Flag, pre-Henry Rollins. Like, having a mental breakdown, going insane. And he's like in the car bumping his fists.
Well, right before bed just now, he came in and said, Mommy, do you have your iPad charged? And I said, I don't know where it is. And so I used yours and played. I said, what do you want to hear? He said Rufus and make it a slow one with him on the piano. So I
have with what I have.
Yeah, my anthem.
I tried singing along with that in the car, and it was impossible. So, what was the question you asked about?
I said to my
theme
mother,
from Arthur or Arthur's theme?
I believe it's the theme from Arthur. It should lip sync and shouldn't the past tense be lip sync, and as opposed to lip synced. And my mother, I was very small. I was 3 or 4. I was obnoxiously questioning, and I
3 or 4.
I spoke a lot, not a lot, but when I did, it was too much for a toddler. You don't want your kid asking all these questions to which you have no answer when they're that small.
Maybe that's why you're so quiet now. It's because you got all the extraneous...
I got it all out of the way.
Yeah, you got it out of the way. Like the lip sync, that doesn't make sense.
Maybe that's why my mom dropped dead.
Maybe,
just
literally.
Fucking exhaustion.
Literally dropped dead. Oh, I was going to ask you earlier. When I do impressions, I don't do impressions walking around the house. Tracy comes out because you
taught our toddler.
Yeah.
We're dueling Tracy.
Like if I just lift something.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
I'm going to get pregnant. Ding, 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 ding. I enjoy a sippy cup.
I enjoy my lunch.
Jesus Christ.
When you hear me do impressions, does it make you sick?
No. When you do impressions of people that I can recognize, and usually they're stories that you're telling me, encounters with these various folks, and you'll tell me the story, and then so and so said, and you'll do their voice, and then you'll say, and I said, and you'll use your own God-given voice, and that's fine. That's fine with me. I think. However, I will say this: with the exception of you, my whole life, and until I met you, I've been impression deaf. And I've actually literally thought, for the most part, every impression I've ever heard until I met you, I was sure was Nixon.
Yeah, we've seen impressionists, and you always say to me, who is he doing?
Who's he doing?
Who's he doing? I'm like, that's John Gruden. You don't know who John Gruden is. Don't worry.
And I'll say, who's he doing? Nixon.
Why does John Gruden sound like Nixon?
Nixon.
And to me, they sound like nothing even close. John Gruden's like, this guy right here's got a high motor. Well, and you're like, why is he doing Nixon talking about football?
I don't think that John Gruden sounds like Nixon. I think that the person doing the impression sounds like Nixon. And so I'm going, wow, this guy's doing an hour of just Nixon impressions?
Yeah, it's a big thing.
That should just be a one-man show.
The glass bottom boat tours that people can watch. You also asked your mom about Arthur's theme at 4 years old.
Oh, yeah.
The theme from Arthur?
If you get caught between the moon and New York City.
New York City.
Yeah.
How's it go?
I know it's... If you get caught between the moon and New York City. I know it's crazy, but it's true. Okay.
I actually don't know the words, and I wanted to get it going.
Well, there you go.
Like on Anchorman when they all sing Afternoon Delight, right? If you get caught between the moon and New York City, I know it's crazy, but it's true.
There's got to be some kind of horn or guitar.
Not a clean whore there. That wasn't a good Norma.
No, I love that, man.
When I do impressions, because people think hey, you live with a comic, it must be amazing all the time. And I remember one time I was quoting Platoon downstairs. I was taking a leak, and you were upstairs, and you went, what? And I went, nothing. I was just quoting Platoon. And you came downstairs. I don't know if you remember this. And you said, I'm sorry, I wasn't listening. And I said, no, I wasn't quoting Platoon for you. I was just quoting Platoon. And that was the first time I realized that that's odd. And you said, I'll never forget it. So if I was not in this house, you would still be saying those nothing can kill Barnes but Barnes.
Right.
And
alone. Saying that.
And I said, yes. And that, I think, really surprised you. I need to...
It surprised me, but not a lot. We've been together a while now, so it surprised me. You're very verbose. You have a lot to say, which is lovely, as I tend to say very little in life. And if were it not for you, I think it would be a pretty mute household.
Yeah, it would be very quiet if I wasn't around. If it was just a baby playing with sticks and rocks and you...
Helen Keller and me.
Well, I would guess...
Give me a break.
She probably banged around and stuff a lot.
I'm man. Jesus Christ.
Could you
imagine? Well, what, really? Really, Helen? Give it a better shot.
They named the convenience store after her. Wawa.
Wawa, I know.
It's been a rough year.
What do you mean?
Oh, well... Women's World Cup tied Sweden.
I know.
0-0. That was weird.
Still trying to get over it.
Your mommy dying, my mommy dying, our mommy.
Our mommy.
Of course, I have parents in New Jersey.
Your mommy going through a second round of cancer.
And she's doing fine. And my father, they live 3,000 miles away. I've dropped the in-law the moment I met this family because... these people don't have to swallow you whole. And those of you out there that are lucky enough to have a family that just devours you, in-law sounds idiotic. This is my mom, this is my dad. And it's my family lives a continent away, and I'm very lucky to be able to go down the street in Santa Monica and see Daddy and give him a big hug and a kiss because my daddy is 3,000 miles away, and I miss that. I need that.
Also, they swallowed you whole because they're cannibals.
They are cannibals. They ate my brain. No, they're not zombies. They're cannibals. And they ate my calves because I knew that was the good meat.
Oh, yeah, you have beautiful calves, honey.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can I put my pants on now?
No, it's too funny.
I mean, shirt and no pants is just such a strange look, man.
I like it.
All right.
I have no problem with any man that wants to be pantless.
Woman shirt, no pants, terrific, especially if it's the guy's shirt.
Yeah.
No?
I'm just not a fan of, lady parts, but sure.
No,
Everybody rocks.
When shopping for car insurance, consider this. Geico has been saving people money on car insurance for over 75 years. So if you're serious about savings, it's simple. Go to geico.com. After 75 years, they know how to save you money.
Does driving matter to you? There are over 4 million miles of road in the U.S. to find out. That's a lot of ground to cover. A lot of highways, freeways, wrong ways, long ways. They're all there, waiting to be driven on. So, do you take that left turn at Albuquerque or just keep going? Do you wake up early Sunday mornings for a drive before the traffic does? Or do you take the long, winding road home for a change? If driving matters to you, just get out and drive. Why? Because driving matters. Mazda.
Put your name on it. Just put your name on it. That's all I say. Be a man or a woman. Put your name on it.
Well, I'd like to hear about it, potheads.
How the fuck you gonna know how to be great if you don't study greatness? Look at the game tape.
Donuts. If you want a battle, it's either that you will or you won't. You're not a bad-looking man, Mr. Gals.
But you are, Blanche. You are in that chair.
There's something wrong with us. Something very, very wrong with us.
Hey, man.
It is about midnight in the Mohr household, and we're a little jacked up on Tylenol PM and bottled water. So just beware.
Also, we're nude.
We are nude. Well, not yet. Here, can I be nude?
Well,
it's not very impressive when you pull your jams down. You, on the other hand,
wow.
if your jams come down, like that's damn impressive.
I'm topless.
That's damn impressive.
To you. That's how you married me.
I think it's pretty impressive to everybody. We wanted to just do a podcast and say to everybody that we think you're terrific. And in this World Mohr Stories podcast, Nikki Cox. Nikki Cox, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
How weird is it that on the TV show Action, the prostitute was named Nikki Fox, and they definitely named it after you. We talked about this a bunch.
I'd say on a scale of 1 to 100 of weird, I'd give it like an 11.
Not.
Well, my name is inherently pretty gross,
but,
and lends itself to being that of a whore.
Well, Norm hired you on the Norm show
to be a whore, and I was on the show Las Vegas a million years ago. And I took the role because I wanted to play a whore. Apparently, I should just stop anything else. I shouldn't be a housewife. I shouldn't write. I should do nothing. Apparently, I want to be a whore.
Yeah, dirty whore.
No, a clean whore. That is good, though.